looks life's sea. When I'm tossed, it sends out a light that I might clearly see. For this light that shines in darkness now will safely lead me home. If it wasn't for the lighthouse, my ship would be no more. And I thank God for the lighthouse. I owe my life to Him. For this light that shines in darkness now will safely lead me home. If it wasn't for the lighthouse, my ship would be no more. And I thank God for the lighthouse.
Good morning, everyone. Just waiting for a couple of folks to come up to the front here. Let's have a round of applause if you liked that Coast Guard helicopter flyover. Oh, and also for that awesome bagpipe music this morning. So that's great. So good morning, everyone. Thanks so much for coming out today. We ordered this weather especially for this event and for Dr. Snowman. So thanks to those who control the weather. We couldn't ask for any better, for sure. Maybe a little cooler would have been okay, but certainly no rain today in the forecast, so that's awesome. So it's my great honor. First of all, I'm Captain Kaylee Benson. I'm the sector commander and the captain of the port, and I've had the great pleasure to work with Dr. Snowman over the last 3 years prior to her retirement just a few months ago. So it's my great honor to preside today as we gather to honor and celebrate the final full-time lighthouse keeper of Boston Lighthouse. And today we stand together to celebrate Dr. Sally Snowman, of course, and we also pay tribute to an era, to a legacy that has safeguarded our mariners and guided countless ships to safety. Boston Light, perched on little Brewster Island in Boston Harbor. You actually can't see it from here because we have that awesome protective seawall over there, but just imagine, it's just on the other side there. It holds a special place in the annals of American history. Established in 1716, it's the oldest lighthouse station in the United States. It's a beacon of hope and security and has been for over 3 centuries. It was also the last man, and to borrow a term from Sally, the last woman lighthouse until very recently. This iconic structure has witnessed the evolution of our nation from the colonial days through the birth of our country and into the modern era. It has stood resilient through wars, weathered countless storms, and embraced the relentless march of time. The lighthouse keepers, the guardians of the light, have been the unsung heroes of maritime history. Their dedication, bravery, and unwavering commitment ensured that the light never dimmed, guiding sailors safely through treacherous waters. Today we honor the last in this long line of diligent keepers who have devoted their lives to this noble cause. Our esteemed guest of honor, Keeper Sally Snowman, embodies the spirit of the lighthouse keeper's role. She spent years in service of this grand beacon, maintaining the light, keeping watch through fog and storm, and ensuring the safety of all who traverse these waters. Keeper Snowman represents the culmination of centuries of dedication, a testament to the enduring importance of this role. Well, we are now firmly in the era of automated lighthouses and advanced navigational aids, but it is essential to remember and honor the service and sacrifice of those who came before. The keepers of Boston Light have been more than just caretakers of the structure. They have been guardians of life and safety on the high seas. To Keeper Snowman and to all who have served in this venerable role, including our awesome team of auxiliarists, many of whom are here today, who supported Sally in all of our efforts to maintain the keepers' quarters and the light across many years, we extend our deepest gratitude. Your dedication preserved a piece of our maritime history, and your legacy will continue to shine as brightly as the light that you have so faithfully tended. As we celebrate this historic moment, let's remember that the spirit of the lighthouse keeper will live on. The Boston Light will continue to stand as a symbol of guidance and safety, and the legacy of its keepers will forever be a beacon of inspiration. And while the chapter of full-time lighthouse keepers for Boston Light is closed, the Coast Guard, through the Aids to Navigation Team Boston, will continue to maintain the navigational aid, and the Coast Guard Auxiliary will continue to maintain the grounds and historic structures on Little Brewster Island. And I hope, through her continuing role in the Coast Guard Auxiliary, that Sally will still find her way out to Little Brewster every now and again. So the order of flow this morning, I'm going to pass the microphone here in just a moment to Superintendent Mike Creasy of the National Park Service to say a few words. We have Boston Harbor Now will say a few words. Hull Lifesaving Museum will say a few words. We have a proclamation from the state and an award for Sally, and then we'll open it up to Sally for her remarks, which is probably why we're all here today, to hear a little bit of Sally Snowman's story. So with that, I'm going to ask Mike Creasy to come on up.
Thank you, Captain. As Captain Benson said, I'm Michael Creasy, and I'm the Superintendent of the National Parks of Boston, and one of those national parks is Boston Harbor Island's National and State Park. A partnership was created by Congress when the park was created, of which the Coast Guard serves as a prominent member of this 11-member commission. And I have to say, before we talk a little bit about our keeper, I want to talk about our captain, because Captain Benson was on our meeting yesterday and announced that that would be her last partnership meeting prior to her departure and retirement. And I just want to just give a shout out to the dedication, to the leadership that Captain Benson has showed on the Boston Harbor Islands Partnership and with the National Park throughout her tenure here in Boston. So Captain Benson, thank you for your leadership. Thank you for all you do. It's also great to see so much blue in the audience. The auxiliaries, the Coast Guard members, service members, veterans. Thank you all for doing what you do. I think as many of you know, that the National Park Service is exploring with the Coast Guard and GSA opportunities for a stewardship opportunity for the National Park Service to play a role in Little Brewster, and we very much look forward to working with you all, and hopefully in the not too near future. So, but let me just say one thing about our keeper, and that is, you know, that light shines bright most of the time. When it doesn't, we hear from all of you in Hall and other places that it's not on. And one of the things that we did is we worked with the Coast Guard to put a camera out on Boston Light, multiple cameras, so that we can see not only for maritime purposes, but also to see when the light is working and when it's not working and what's going on out there. So that's been a great partnership. But it's a beacon. It is in our logo for the Boston Harbor Islands. It represents so much meaning to not only Boston Harbor, but I think to the city of Boston, as well as to the Coast Guard, and to those of us in the National Park Service that are stewards of our nation's heritage. So I just want to say that there's so much more meaning to the light than just that beacon that it shares. But it's truly a metaphor for what this place is all about. So this is not my first rodeo with Sally. We've honored Sally a couple of times now, but this is like the big one. And so as she departs officially today, my colleagues and I just felt like it was appropriate to keep her legacy going on. So bear with me for a second. Sally, you might be leaving us as the last keeper of the nation's lighthouses, but you're not going very far, because we've already enlisted you, and I have an application right here from the National Park Service to be a volunteer. I already have your uniform set up to be that volunteer, so I hope this volunteer shirt with Boston Light on it will fit, and if not, we will make sure it does fit. And there you go. There you go. And with that, while you're filling out your government paperwork, which I know you are used to doing, we wanted to indoctrinate you as a junior park ranger. So this is before you get into your volunteer uniform. We have you all set up to be a junior park ranger for the Boston Harbor Islands. And with this, we want you to learn all about Lighthouse tours, a bit about all of the Boston Harbor Islands, a bit about all the species and the natural environments that are on the Harbor Islands. And we also have a great program for night skies, because there's no better place to see the night sky than on Little Brewster, as well as sound explorers. And there's no better place to hear all of the sounds that are coming off from the environment out on Little Brewster as well. And lastly, this is your Junior Ranger booklet that you need to fill out before you can become a full-fledged Junior Ranger. So we've got your homework, so I'm sure your husband will be helping you out with some of this as well. And lastly, while you're studying and contemplating your long-term membership as a volunteer for the National Park Service on Little Brewster, we have a couple of Boston Harbor Light pints for you to light up your evenings with as well. So congratulations in advance for being a volunteer, as well as I know you're going to pass the Junior Ranger test. So, but in all seriousness, Sally, you've truly been a great friend, an incredible academic, and mentor to so many of our rangers and to the National Park Service over the years for your shared knowledge and your ability to be able to take that knowledge and really inspire people to learn more about the Coast Guard, Little Brewster, Boston Light, and the history behind Boston Harbor. So with that, we just want to say thank you from the bottom of our hearts, as well as just the best of luck in your volunteer efforts and your park rangering efforts as you move forward. forward in your retired lifestyle.
Don't forget your application. That's great. That's hard to follow, but we're gonna do that. I'd like to invite up Rita, all right, from Boston Harbor now. She's got a few words.
Good afternoon. I am here on behalf of all of us at Boston Harbor Now. Kathy Abbott could not be here today but sends her best wishes to you, Sally, and the captain. For nearly 2 decades, the Island Alliance and the Boston Harbor Now have partnered very closely with Sally to share the magic of the oldest lighthouse, Boston Light, with tens and thousands of people. Even when public access to the island stopped in 2018, Sally's presence and stories were welcomed, enjoyed, and an integral part of the experience that the Lighthouse tours offered. Sally, while you may be moving on from this role, you are leaving us with a legacy that will be cherished by so many more to come. You have been the face of Little Brewster, and as a young woman who started out her career about a decade ago in this country, you inspired me and so many others. Your passion, care, and commitment towards this special place is very heartwarming. We wish you the very best for the next chapter, and we'll see you out on the islands as a volunteer. You will always be a part of our family. We thought you'd have lots of lighthouse pictures and tours, so we had a little harbor map as a tray that you could use.
The National Park Service pint glasses will look great on that tray. Fantastic. Next, I'd like to invite Executive Director Mike McGurl from Hull Lifesaving Museum to come up.
So first, I want to welcome Sally and her husband Jay to the Hull Lifesaving Museum. And I want to thank everybody else for showing up to help with this celebration. This is a great location to have the celebration because it's certainly fitting to hold it here because we are a former life-saving station and now a museum. Now, Lighthouse Service and the Lighthouse Life-Saving Service worked in partnership. Boston Light keeping guiding ships into the harbor, and if they didn't make it, the Life-Saving Service went up to help them out if they were in peril out on the ocean. So then in 1915, the Coast Guard was formed and took both entities and melded them together. And the Coast Guard continues the tradition with their skills, courage, capabilities in looking after all of us mariners out there in the water. And I think that it's best, their work is best summed up with their motto, which is Semper Paratus, always prepared. And we see the Coast Guard out here all the time, and I can tell you just from direct observation that they are, in fact, always prepared. And they're always a good partner with us at the museum here as well. So now just to add a little bit of personal context to the relevance of Boston Harbor. I remember as a child visiting Little Brewster Island and Boston Light, and I was amazed at the history and the beauty out there. And for anybody who's been out there, it's fantastic. If we have a chance in the future, it's open again, we'll be able to go out there again. And also, I grew up in the Squantum part of Quincy, which is about 5 miles that way. And Boston Light, the beacon swept through my bedroom for every 10 seconds my entire time growing up. And now, it shines in our office window, so it's a great continuation of the great tradition. Now, as we all know, that most of the lighthouses have been sold off or automated because of the addition of new navigational aids, GPS and everything, a lot automated. So it's exciting to have Sally staff the Boston Light these many years and keep the island open to visitors until storm damage recently limited public access. But still, Sally kept the light on, and now it will be interesting to see the next chapter in Boston Light's history. So we congratulate Sally Snowman for her career maintaining the lighthouse, conducting tours, and honoring the history of the lighthouse in Boston Harbor. Thank you, Sally. Both you and Jay will always be welcome here at the museum, where you can admire Boston Light, the Harbor Islands, and reminisce about your successful career. So thank you very much. I don't think we gave Jay a round of applause yet.
I'm going to go a little out of order, actually. May I invite, we have with us today Mike Murphy from Senator O'Connor's office. Mr. Murphy, could you come and join us?
So my name's Michael Murphy. I work at State Senator O'Connor's office. Senator O'Connor could not be here today. They're voting on the budget today at the State House. So it's kind of funny. I actually live in North Weymouth, and I have a few good friends that are Boston, so I've been out to Boston Light several times, and I always wondered who runs Boston Light. So it's good. It's nice to meet you. But Senator O'Connor wanted to send along this State Senate official citation, and we had this read into the record last week. So you'll forever be a part of the Senate Journal. So it says, "Be it known that the Massachusetts Senate hereby extends its congratulations to Dr. Sally Snowman in recognition of your outstanding service as the 70th Lighthouse Keeper of Coast Guard Light Station Boston, known as Boston Light, and be it further known that the Massachusetts Senate extends its best wishes for continued success, that this citation be duly signed by the President of the Senate and attested to, and a copy thereof transmitted by the Clerk of the Senate, and it's signed by Senate President Karen Spilka, the Clerk of the Senate, Michael Hurley, and State Senator Pat O'Connor." So congratulations, Sally. Thank you for all you're doing.
Great, awesome. Can I have Lieutenant Commander Ahrens come up and help me with this next presentation? Kate, where are you? So this woman here is responsible for organizing, along with Hull Lifesaving Museum and Boston Harbor Now, for this event. So she's done a terrific job getting this together today, and I'd be remiss if she wasn't up here to help with the presentation of a couple of awards that we have for Keeper Snowman. So Sally and Kate, would you just come right up here? So, as many of you know, Sally actually officially retired from government service at the end of December of 2023. Kate envisioned this particular event in order to have it be more publicly available and also here in the historic tradition of the Hull Lifesaving Museum with Boston Light just across the way. So she's already been recognized, as Superintendent Creasy said, a number of times. But we do have today, because we didn't have this in time for the other event, a Distinguished Career Service Award. So I'll read that so that you all can hear. So this is the Distinguished Career Service Award granted to Dr. Sally R. Snowman upon retirement for over 20 years of outstanding federal service and steadfast dedication to the missions of the United States Coast Guard. And it was signed on the 31st of December 2023 by Linda L. Fagan, who is the Commandant of the United States Coast Guard. So congratulations, Sally, on a career well spent. Thank you. All right, and then this is a more traditional Coast Guard going away gift that the team procured for Dr. Snowman. This is a paddle with beautiful fancy work on it with engraving, and it's got the Sector Boston logo on it, presented to Dr. Sally Snowman, United States Coast Guard, 70th Keeper of Boston Light from August 2003 to December 2023. Thank you for your service, Sally. All right, great. So with that, I can take that back for you, Sally. I'm going to pass the mic to you, Sally. Have you got some words for us? All right, find some words. Oh my gosh, I am so overwhelmed with everybody showing up today. For those who don't know me very well, I am an introvert by nature. And when I got hired, and I was asked by Captain May at the time, well, Sally, we want you to stand out from the crowd. And we have found a life-saving service uniform that you can wear. And I said, excuse me, sir, the women in the light service were not allowed to wear the uniform, so it would be inappropriate for me to wear it. And then he said, well, what are you going to wear? And I said, just you wait and see. And so the costume that I wear is one that would have been in vogue back in 1783, when the island was remanned. And it would be with the woman, the wife of the keeper that was out there at the time. So this is how I came into this uniform. So when I'm not doing my duties out at Boston Light and I'm out in the general public, I will not be recognized. And it has been quite effective. There's only been one person that has recognized me, and she had been out at Boston Light on a Sunday. Jay and I were living in Plymouth at the time. We went into a coffee shop to sit with some friends, and I could feel some eyes on the back of my head. And I sort of turned around and said, oh, she was one of the visitors yesterday. And sure enough, she came over to me and said hi. But there was only one in all those 20 years. So it was quite the get-up, as we call it. And for me, what has been an amazing experience is managing approximately 300 volunteers from the auxiliary and the Friends of Boston Harbor Islands since 2000. And I was doing that as a volunteer, went on the payroll, continued with it, and we have a lot of those auxiliaries here. For those who are assistant keepers or watch our historical interpreters, raise your hand, raise them high, wave. Up to Florida to be here today, and she's flying back tonight. And other people have come off the Cape. They've come quite a distance. I'm just so honored. I just keep on tearing up when I saw more and more people. And then we have the crew from Station Point Holiday. Thank you so much for bringing me out to the island during the winter. And then our boat that we took back and forth to do our duties out there, we had comms with Station Point Holiday for all these years, and we couldn't have done it without your support. Thank you. So the next chapter in my life, I don't know what that's going to be. All I know is that Jay and I have 15 scheduled presentations between now and mid-October. They're coming out of the woodwork, and I'm going, is this what I really want to do with my retirement? It's quite the journey. Thank you so much for being here today. It's been such a privilege to be the keeper. I say the first and the last, the first woman in 307 years, and the last keeper of Boston Light. Thank you so much for being here today. Dr. Snowman. Thank you, everyone. That wraps a formal portion of this event today. Thank you for joining us to honor Keeper Snowman and, of course, the Keeper's husband, as mentioned. Jay sitting right here in the front row. She couldn't have done what she was doing without the support of Jay as well. So we thank you. And to all the Coast Guard Auxiliary team who've supported Boston Light and Little Brewster Island across the years and into the future. I also would be remiss if I didn't thank Hull Lifesaving Museum. Hull Lifesaving Museum team is always the first to say, yes, we can totally do that. What do you need? We'd love to support. As Superintendent Creasy mentioned earlier, if you haven't looked at it, check it out on the National Park Service of Boston website. There's a link to the webcams that you'll find out on Boston Lighthouse. That was a true collaborative initiative to get those cameras up there. The internet actually is bounced off of Hull Lifesaving Museum, so we thank you again and again for that. The National Park Service had a member who had all of the subject matter expertise to install that. We just paid for it, and we provided some muscle along with that. So it's a true collaborative effort to get public access out there via the cameras until such time that we can get public access in person again for the island. So Hull Lifesaving Museum, thank you so much for hosting us here today so that we can make note of this historical moment with Dr. Snowman and this true collaborative team. And for Boston Harbor Now for providing the refreshments. There's some light refreshments inside if you haven't gotten in there yet. And please take some time to enjoy the Coast Guard art exhibit that's here on the premises. They've got some beautiful artwork up on the wall. So thank you all for coming out and for supporting us today, and enjoy the rest of the event. Thank you so much.